Well,
Yep.
what's this final topic that I can give my thoughts on before I have to go because I have to give something to my mom?
Well, I don't have. It's not
You
the
said it
final
was
topic,
something.
but
You
it's
teased
a
something.
topic I wanted to talk about because you're still here. But I have other stuff for when you're gone, getting set up, of course.
All right.
Uh,
So what's this
I'm
final
pulling
Joseph
it up.
topic?
I'm pulling it up. Okay, so Project Veritas, they released this yesterday. They have a part 2 that they released today, so we'll be going through both of those. This first one's just a minute 16. Breaking undercover meeting with DNC leader David Hogg reveals who really ran the Biden White House. He wielded an enormous amount of power. I can't stress to you enough how much power he had at the White House. It was an open secret. I would avoid him. He was scary. So let's see who he's talking about.
Yes,
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
off the record, of course.
Foundational question for me is
Joe
like,
Biden.
how corrupt is the DNC if so many people knew, or few people knew about Biden?
Well-
Like, the president of the United States.
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be like a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue is like the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it.
And I can't stress to you enough.
Like Joe Biden's chief of staff, like had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff.
That was like an open secret at the level. Like I would avoid him. Like he was scary.
What was his name?
Anthony Trump.
I've never seen him.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
He's like a shadowy like Wizard of Oz type figure. That's what made him so like. I knew how he looked, but I'm like the general.
Does anyone know who this guy is? I've never heard of him.
No, I just want to say, usually when James O'Keefe stuff comes out, it's usually like some type of romantic interest that is like spying, like the hot blonde girls with the overly drunk guys. So now that there's a dude that's doing it with David Hogg, does this confirm that David Hogg is indeed gay?
I don't know. Like he's literally just having breakfast with this dude, just telling him about how the government was ran by a shadowy dude.
See, Maddie says that she says, guys, that's a date. Why would you tell someone from Tinder about the DNC or the president? Yeah, this dude's gay, bro.
Yeah, no, this
Confirmed.
does not help the allegations.
We just need to get Harry Sisson because he's been claiming he's not gay, but we all know the truth. We know he paid
Dude,
him
Harry
to make himself
Sisson-
not look gay.
Harry Sisson and David Hogg, that's a power couple, Joey.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, they're a power couple, but none of them are a power.
I don't want to be
bottom.
those next door neighbors, man.
No, that's the problem, Joey, is they can't figure out who the power bottom is.
The power bottom's Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, they compete. They compete with each other on that. So let's play the rest of this clip. Yeah, I've never heard who this guy is. What did he say his name was?
I've never seen him.
Wait, so
Anthony
Anthony Bernal, senior
Bernal.
advisor to Dr. Jill Biden. So
Maybe he's one of the Illuminati members.
Well, so David Hogg is saying that he was basically running the administration.
Interesting.
So this is the man behind the. This is the man behind the curtain, is what we're talking about,
The
Nora.
Wizard of Oz.
No, well, I left it. I could hear you guys, but so I saw part of this yesterday, and a little bit more today. And from what I'm gathering is that this dude was the puppet master. You know, everybody's questioning. Okay, well, if Biden wasn't in charge, who was?
Yep.
This is the dude.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So Anthony Bernal, remember this name? I guess we're gonna have to start looking into him and see who is this guy? I've never heard of him. I don't know, Joey. Maybe you can go into that on your show when you switch over. I don't know if you have a topic today. Maybe you could do an Anthony Bernal deep dive.
I have somebody from a VIP chat who had some interesting theories that we're gonna talk about. And,
okay,
she's seeking to have an argument with somebody, not tomorrow, but at some point over her theories.
Well, perhaps a nightcap on this Anthony Bernal person.
Maybe a Tyler Tanay news.
Maybe a deep dive,
premium deep dive.
Yeah, deep dive.
You got to get Mad Stork on the case. He knows everything.
Yeah,
he's a Mad Stork, Mr. Stork. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta help my mom. So
okay, later, Joey.
Bye.
I'll
Good
send
seeing you,
the
Joey.
link well, you'll be able to find the link.
I'm gonna rate out to you today. So
that's nice. I
That's
did read
nice.
to you after all. I'm kidding.
So catch Joey on Outworld Live later. He's got to go. So let's watch the rest of this clip. So yeah, Anthony Bernal, never heard of this guy. And David Hogg saying that he's basically like Nora said, he's the puppet master. Let's see.
Exactly.
So let's see, part 1. Oh
Is
wait,
there a
is
part
this the
2?
video? Yeah, there's a part 1 and then there's a part 2.
And now apparently because David Hogg was involved in all of this and some other stuff, they're trying to get him out of the DNC.
Oh well, I thought they've been trying to do that.
Yes,
Nice to meet you.
Oh wait, is that not the same clip? Okay, so that was part 1. Okay. Well, why are you guys gonna make it confusing? I have part 2 as well. It's fine. We're just gonna move. We're just gonna move to part 2. I don't know why they did it like that. Breaking part 2. David Hogg slams Pelosi's 2 well-timed stock trades. Wants to burn it all down. He said Speaker Pelosi gets better returns than almost every hedge fund every year. Conveniently, Congress happened to be some of the best financial analysts in human history. So let's see this clip. This one's longer, almost 3 minutes. I'm gonna start it and I'm gonna grab a drink.
I would say Pelosi's actually very good at her job. I don't agree with the stock trading stuff. I mean, she gets better returns than almost every hedge fund in this city every year. Some of these members of Congress make trades that are like way too well timed to not have like insider knowledge. They happen to be some of the best financial analysts in human history.
Have you spoken against that?
I've talked to them in the past, but it's also like I know that if I pick that fight, it's going to be harder for us to get gun control passed. So I have to pick my battle. Like my heart.
That's hilarious. They won't pass insider trading laws because gun control. That's funny. So David Hogg, obviously he's known for the school shooting stuff, and he's a big advocate for gun control. And literally, he's talking about how he doesn't want to go against insider trading because he's worried about it affecting legislation for gun control. How ridiculous! How
Yeah,
ridiculous
'cause
is that?
law-abiding citizens attack so many people.
I know, right?
Well, and think about this, right? So if insider trading and lobbyists are the problem in our government, where people are able to trade all these stocks and then make laws on the stocks so they go up or down, or we have these companies that come to them and offer them a bunch of money to vote certain ways. You know, it would be great, David, if gun manufacturers couldn't go to your congressman and be like, "Hey, vote the way that I want you to vote," and then because that also goes against your gun control too. So what would be great if they just couldn't do that. Then maybe you'd be able to get your gun control passed because then all these gun manufacturers wouldn't be paying for them not to. I'm just saying, not that I should be giving advice to the Democrats. I'm just saying, if you think about it, it benefits everybody. So
Well,
They don't ever listen, man. They
it's
think they're
Republicans
perfect.
too.
wait, you were both talking there. What were you saying?
Sorry, go
Norm?
ahead.
I was saying it's not just the Democrats; it's the Republicans too. The lobbyists have them both in their pockets.
Yep.
So both sides need to knock it off.
Yep. And then Midwest, you were saying something as well.
Sorry.
I don't remember.
Oh, no,
It's all
okay.
good.
No, it's fine. That's the only issue with doing it online, right? Is like if we were in person, it would be a little bit easier to interrupt each other. But there's a delay when we speak on here, even if it's just like a couple seconds. It can make things a little bit more complicated. So
And I've been
fine.
intermittently lagging, so sometimes it'll be like, I don't think you guys are talking, so I'll start talking.
No, you're more than welcome to cut me off. That goes for anyone that I ever have on. You're more than welcome to cut me off because sometimes I drag on a little too much. I've tried to tell this with TJ. The problem with TJ, though, is that he doesn't have a good enough mic to talk over me. So,
Gotcha.
But anyway, so we'll continue on with this clip. But it's just ridiculous. Gun control is ridiculous. We don't really need to talk about that today. I'm sure we all agree on that. And then saying that they can't get rid of insider trading because it would prevent them from getting gun control is also ridiculous. Because I feel like that's just counterintuitive. Anyway, let's watch the rest of this.
The hardest part about my job is I just want to burn everything down because it's all so corrupt. But you got to figure.
That's an interesting comment. He wants to burn it all down because it's all so corrupt. I mean, it is interesting because a lot of people see David Hogg as a grifter, but now that he actually got like an official position in the DNC, he's like, holy shit. This is the people that I look up to.
Now he's an anarchist wanting to burn it all down.
Yeah, I just want to burn it all down. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's watch some more.
Your battles and slowly build your momentum. Congress think.
I will agree with him. You know, for a Democrat, Pelosi is a good Democrat.
Yeah.
She is good at what Democrats want to do, and that's pass terrible shit.
Yeah.
And I mean,
evil people. Oh, sorry.
no, and I was just gonna say, and you know, like he mentioned there, insider trading. He's not gonna go after her for it because they can't get her out anyway.
I was just gonna say, like, evil people, just because they're evil doesn't mean they're incompetent. Like, they can be very tactful.
Well, I mean, we talk about that a lot too. At some point, incompetence is evil. So either way, I don't think it makes a difference.
Right.
Because to a point, they lead to the same destination. Nora, do you have anything to add before we continue?
No, this is just. Oh, I have so many thoughts on these people, and they're all evil.
Yeah, well, you could share some of those thoughts after the video. We're deep enough into YouTube where it should be fine, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, I apologize, by the way.
No, don't. Rumble is my bread and butter. YouTube is secondary. It's fine.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Yep. Anyway.
Too well timed.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's absolutely right. We just need to ban Congress from owning stocks and owning, you know, parts of companies like that. If you're going to be in the federal government, you need to take a pause on all of that. You need to set all that stuff aside.
Do you think elected officials in general should be banned from owning stocks?
That's a good question. I don't know about in general, because like if you're, see, that's a tough one, because like if you're on like a local board, should you be barred from owning stocks?
If you had stocks before you joined your position, then they are exempt. But if you should not be allowed to get any stocks while in office.
I think you shouldn't be able to buy or sell. So
yeah, exactly. You cannot buy or sell stocks while in office. Except
no, that's fair. I wouldn't force anyone to sell their stocks, but you are not allowed to sell any current stocks you hold or buy any more. I think that would be fair.
And see, there's only one person in history who has had excessive gains like this, and his name was Bernie Madoff. And you know, he kind of fluffed a lot of his own numbers, and he had the shady side. So somebody who is gaining this much return has a finger on the pulse somewhere where it shouldn't be. So I don't agree. Unless we can follow her and are allowed to make the same exact purchases that she's making, you know, and expect the same exact returns as she's making.
Isn't there a Twitter account that does that?
Yes. There is a guy who actually goes out and he says exactly, and it's not just her, it's all of them. Anybody and everybody. There is an account out there, I forgot what his name is, but he goes out and he tracks every single buying and selling of stocks from every single person who holds an office.
Well, they shut that down for a while. I know on Reddit they had a bunch of stocks for all the Congress people, and the Reddit shut that down, which is ridiculous because like if all that stuff is public, it should be able to be publicly shared.
Reddit got shut down because the government was putting force on them, just like they were doing with Facebook.
Sounds about right. Well, anyway, let's continue with the rest of this video, and then we'll give our thoughts on it. And then I do have some other stories we could possibly get into while we're waiting for Joey to get started. So we'll play the rest of this and give our thoughts.
Just conveniently. They happen to be some of the best financial analysts in human history.
super weird. This is like a business meeting or like a date or I don't know. I don't know what this is. He's clearly sat down to talk to this guy.
I mean, didn't O'Keefe recently say that, like, I can't remember who he was talking to, but stating, because he was asked about the dating thing, if that was the primary goal of what they did for getting access to stuff like this. And he stated, no, there's multiple ways. That's only about like somewhere around like 14% of what they did.
That's what I mean. Like, did he set up like a fake business deal or fake advertiser kind of thing? Like, I don't know, like, because that'd be pretty smart too. Like, you come to David Hogg trying to do some advertising deal, or
investigative journalism. They use different techniques, and undercover work is definitely one of the ways to do it. So, James has to be careful also on releasing some of these videos because these people are now known to the other people. So their cover can be blown. They can get hurt. There's a lot of nuance that has to be done when you're doing this deep dive of investigative journalism.
Yeah. Well, and then so there wasn't anything too big from these videos except for the video of him talking about the puppet master. Let me see if I can go back to that video.
Sorry, that meme cracked me up.
The puppet master?
The one with David Hogg's face over the guy with the 2 buttons.
Oh, I think it was this video here.
Biden.
This was scary. I would have.
Joe Biden?
Jill Biden's chief of staff.
That was like an open secret at that point. Like,
Jill Biden's chief of staff.
Yep.
So Jill Biden's chief of staff was the puppet master. Interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do like
His
a deep
tie
dive
is
on him.
crooked. It's horrible.
What?
His tie. It looks horrible.
His tie is crooked. Oh. Anthony Bernal, yeah. And then we have the Times talking about it. Undercover Project Veritas video shows DNC Vice Chair David Hogg claiming Dr. Jill Biden's chief of staff Anthony Bernal held major behind-the-scenes influence during the 2024 campaign, described as a powerful, secretive figure. Let's see. They're talking about the video. So who is he? Anthony Bernal is a longtime Democratic political operative who served as senior advisor and chief of staff to First Lady Jill Biden from 2020 to 2025. He's from Arizona, graduated at St. Gregory College Preparatory School, attended some other colleges, blah, blah, blah. He also worked for Clinton and the Obama administrations before playing a pivotal role in Joe Biden's 2024 re-election campaign as deputy campaign manager. In July 2024, he was subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee as part of an inquiry into President Joe Biden's health. Days later, he was one of 4 senior aides present. Four senior aides present during a crucial meeting at the president's Roboth Beach residence, a meeting that ultimately led to Biden's decision to withdraw from the 2024 race. So this guy was there for all of the big moments then. This Anthony Bernal guy, he definitely seems like the puppet master. He was there when Joe Biden was getting his campaign going. He was there for the other major Democrat administrations. He was there when Joe Biden decided to announce he was dropping out. Like, this guy clearly seems like he had some weight in the administration.
I guess the next question would be: did he have access to the auto pin?
Ooh, that's a
good one.
That would be an excellent question. If we find out that this dude had any sort of access to that auto pen,
he probably did. Given that he's her senior advisor, it's almost that is a very high probability.
Yeah, that needs to be investigated.
And also, you got to remember that she can email her staff while they're away, and the auto pen was used while they were on vacation.
Yep.
So that is a very, very, very high probability.
That's a scary thought. That's a scary thought that our government can be so easily subverted by members of the cabinet like that. And that's exactly why we need to have a fucking age limit on the president. Like, look, I get it. Donald Trump's in the office. I want an age limit to where even he wouldn't be able to run. But
do you think age limit or competency limit? Like, you do some kind of a
both
mental test.
Both.
See, so the issue with a competency test like that is the same issue with like a a civics test to vote. Like the government is the one making that test, so they're the ones that get to decide if they're fit enough to vote or fit enough to be president. I don't like that precedent. That's why I just say just do age. Age is easier. Be like, all right, after this certain age, like you may be physically fit, you may be mentally fit, but we as a society have decided that we don't want presidents past this age.
Yeah, you
Well,
need
I
to
mean,
live out
if-
your
oh,
golden
sorry.
years.
Go ahead, Nora.
It's like you need to be able to live out your golden years, but it's like the cognitive ability test that they have in place now, it's supposed to be fail proof. It's the fact that there are human errors, and human error will always, prevail.
Yeah.
It's willful oh god, what's the word I'm looking for?
Willful ignorance.
Yeah, this willful ignorance that they're doing, and it's disgusting.
But no, I think that's an excellent question Midwest Mysteries brought up. Did he have access to the auto pen? If people like him did, which Nora, you're right, he likely did, that again brings all of the executive orders into question. So,
Well, just based on his cognitive ability alone, it puts everything into question.
that's
Every
true.
single law that was signed, everything.
To add to what you guys were saying with age limit and whatnot, our government structure was based upon a lot of the Greek structure of how they had everything pieced together, and you had a Senate, and the Senate was mostly geared for the the older members of the society who had knowledge and experience, and then they would counsel the emperor along with the other structures of government, and that's how we got our idea. So I think it would be very beneficial to put, like you were saying, an age limit on the president, but I don't think age limits for senators necessarily would make sense, because that's supposed to be what counsels the rest of the branches.
I mean, yeah, it would just depend, I guess. There's certain positions I think that absolutely need age limits. Like members of Congress, I think need age limits. The age limits for Congress, age limits for presidency, at least. Because I mean, you just look at there's so many members of Congress. Like look at the Senate hearings when the TikTok ban stuff was going through, and they were asking some of the most fucking ridiculous, out of touch questions you could possibly imagine. They were asking questions like, oh, does TikTok have access to my Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
It's like, are you fucking serious?
Well, not only that, but think about the reverse. The presidency has a minimal age.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
why
So do
can't
all
it have a
positions.
maximum age?
Yep, all positions. So we have a minimum. We absolutely should have a maximum. There's no reason. Like let's say technology's getting better all the time, right? Let's say we for some reason figure out how to get people to live to 140. You want a 140-year-old running for fucking president?
God, no.
God, no.
Well,
No,
I
exactly.
mean,
I don't care if he's as physically fit as me. He's been around 140 goddamn years. No.
He can counsel. I would love to know the
I would love
wisdom.
him as an advisor. He would be a great
Exactly.
advisor. I need the wisdom.
Hey
But-
man, if AI can like update you and you get biological updates instead of just existing,
That's Neuralink, bro. It's the next upgrade from Neuralink. No.
No, thank you.
Oh, it disappeared.